back. I have been sick. Pretty sick. If you see me doing this a lot during this episode, it's just my ear is still bothering me a little bit. I am on antibiotics, but I also have like fluid in the tube in my ear. Don't ask me to pronounce it because I can't. So I'm still working on getting that done. I have exercises I have to do to get my ear out, or to kind of help drain it, I guess, or pop it in a way. And as we can see, we have somebody new. We have Jessie back here now. So, yeah, she's there. And we also have another little friend with us. He is sleeping right now. But over Mother's Day weekend, because this week that I'm recording, there will not be any new episodes because I was sick, and like literally, guys, it was like something new every day. But we got a puppy over Mother's Day weekend. We got him the Friday before Mother's Day. So he's still just a baby. I'm gonna see if I can't move us over. He's there, sleeping. His name is Dusty. Yeah, can you say hi? Oh, he said no. He is tired. We just went outside and went to the bathroom, and poor mean me, I made him walk from where he pooped to the dumpster to throw it away. But he did really good with that. We're still getting him used to walking on a leash, which is why he also has his harness on him, just getting him used to that. But he did really good. He did not do so good on our way to school to drop my son off. He pretty much made me carry him the whole way. But he doesn't like all the cars driving by on the street, so like that kind of freaks him out. So I think as he gets older and he gets used to it, it'll be easier. But yeah, so we've had a busy week / busy weekend, and yeah, being sick has sucked, and I'm still trying to get over kind of everything that's coming along with it, because I have allergies, and I got a cold from said allergies, and then I got tonsillitis from said cold, which was in my left side, which was in my left ear and left throat, and that really sucked. I had that all last weekend, and then it started to go away Monday. I was like, you know what, if I still have it Monday, I'm gonna go to the doctor, and it went away. So I was like, it was better by Monday morning. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to the doctor. And then Tuesday I woke up and it felt like there was a rattling, like something was loose in this ear, which it doesn't feel loose anymore. It's just full now. And so like I can hear like a crickling, or like almost kind of like Rice Krispie treats whenever I swallow and it like bulges out a little bit. And because that's it draining. And then I was just like, well, that's weird. And, I just kept like popping it back in, and then it would be fine, and then I would swallow again, and it would kind of like pop back out, so I'd use my trachea to make a suction and push it back in, and then it was, it'd be fine, and then I took a nap, and I laid on my left side, so this side was up, and it was like sturdy, and there wasn't like a feeling of movement anymore, so I was like, okay, cool, we're good now. And then Wednesday I woke up and it was the popping feeling, and I was like, that feels so weird. Like every time I swallow, it's like a popping noise. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, but it wasn't hurt. Nothing was hurting except when I had the tonsillitis. Nothing was hurting. Nothing was bothering me with this ear. So I was just like, okay, whatever. And then Thursday morning I woke up and I was muffled to myself. Like I can still hear everything just fine in this ear, but I was muffled, and I'm like, all right, I give up. I'm going to the doctor. So I go to urgent care. And she looks at me and she goes, are you sure your ear doesn't hurt? Because it's really red and angry. Come to find out, I had an ear infection. And then she also noticed that there was like a white milky stuff coming from my ear. And so she's like, you also have fluid in your ears. So I'm going to give you some instructions on how to help with that. And I'm going to give you some antibiotics if you want those. And I was like, yeah, please. I would like the antibiotics, just because I would hate to not get them and then it get worse. So it was this whole kind of thing, and unfortunately it did get worse later that afternoon. Like I had not eaten anything all day just because I hadn't been hungry over the past week. And I ended up getting a headache, and then I took my amoxicillin, which was probably not the greatest idea because I ate pizza for dinner that night. and I ate it, and then I took my pill, and I don't know if I just took it too soon. I don't know if it was the greasy pizza. I don't know if it was the cheese from the pizza, but something did not sit well down in my stomach, and then I threw everything back up, including my giant horse pill of amoxicillin, all my vitamins for that night. Yeah, it was not fun. And that was my Thursday. And then Friday night, we got him. And then I was feeling better by Friday, and then yeah, it was just kind of one thing after another. Like, I had no time over the week between napping and feeling like trash to do any recordings. So this week that I am recording, there is no new episodes, unfortunately. But, however, as of yesterday, today is the 15th that I'm recording this. As of yesterday, Mother's Day, my episode on Ice Cream Sunday came out. If you don't follow me on my socials, I have shared everything that the beautiful boys have shared promoting it. Yeah, it is on there as well. So if you go to my social, especially my Facebook, my Twitter, I have retweeted it. My Instagram, I am tagged in it. Please feel free to go check those places out if you want to. Otherwise, you can just look up Ice Cream Sunday Podcast. It's on Spotify. It's pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts. That came out on Mother's Day, and it's episode 51, and I'm super excited about it. I'm super proud of it. And the boys also told me that by the time that this comes out, they've already said their thing. They said it over the weekend, but they are also going to be at Des Moines Con June 3rd and 4th with their sister podcast, Meatless Monday, and they are going to be in booth 619. If you are ever wondering about it, just think about Rey Mysterio and his 619. That's exactly what I keep thinking of it every time. Every time I hear them say it, I just keep thinking the 619. So, yes, I think that's enough of an intro, but we're just going to go ahead, roll right into it, and get started with recording. Because with him falling asleep, I think I have about an hour before hopefully he wakes up and has to go outside again. So I'm hoping that I've timed this just right where he will stay asleep during the recording. And then when I'm done, I can wake him up and take him outside to go potty. Fingers crossed. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Am I the Asshole? Yes, guys, it is Monday. As usual, I don't read any of the stories I'm about to read with you. I will leave any usernames in the description if you want to leave your own opinion on their post, given it is still up. My username for Reddit is in the description. Feel free to tag me in stories you'd like to hear me read. Let's get started. You know, sometimes I worry. I used to worry a lot when I would take, like, hiatuses or just, like, even small ones, how hard it might be to get back into the swing of things. But honestly, it's probably because it's only been a week. But I feel still really good about everything. And I'm really happy doing this. So we are... is this the one I just did? No. Weird. Oh, no. Okay. I thought I had one that I had, like, done already, or, like, not that I had done already, but I had saved, like, recently, because I just added some. And I'm just wrong, and that's okay. Being wrong is okay. I also have a new setup for my iPad, and I don't know how I didn't think about it before, but I have, like, a Bluetooth keyboard for my laptop, or for, like, to turn it into a laptop for my iPad, so that's what I'm using now, and I think it's going to work a little bit. I just have it propped up on a book, so it's a little bit higher, but that way I don't have to look down so far instead of, like, at you guys. I would really love, like, just saying, I would really love, like, one of those clip-on holders for the iPad, so I, like, clip it onto the side and then, like, put it, like, right here underneath where my camera is, because I think that would be perfect for recordings. But hi everybody, happy Monday. I hope you guys all had a good weekend, or you're having a good week whenever you are listening to this episode. I know that last week I did not have any new episodes. I have been sick, so my usual recording days I was pretty much just either sleeping or feeling like trash, and I just could not record. My ear had been bothering me. I got an ear infection. I've given this whole spiel already in the video, so if you do not watch, feel free to go over to my YouTube, and the whole intro is like almost 10 minutes long. Yeah, that's a thing. But we are just gonna go ahead, roll right into it. And also, if you, just a little, how do I want to put this? A little incentive to go over to the YouTube channel if you don't usually peruse my YouTube. There is also a little surprise of an announcement that I have made over on there that I have shown everybody over on YouTube. His name is Dusty, and he is our new puppy. So if you would like to see him, go check out any of my socials. I'm going to try and post him, I think, after this on my Instagram for sure. So anybody that has not seen him yet and that would like to, he will be on my Instagram. And you can also see him sleeping in the chair next to me on YouTube. But we're just going to go ahead, roll right into it so that way we do not miss a beat. Am I the asshole for ditching my friend and her toddler at a restaurant because they were late? I'm interested about this because that kind of sounds like an asshole thing, but at the same time, this one has already been dubbed not the asshole, so I'm really interested to know the rest of this and like why they have been dubbed not the asshole. Also, I'm gonna say this just on precedent, for anybody watching via YouTube, I am sorry about my face being sick all week. I had not washed my face. Something just fell in the bathroom. It was probably my shaver. That seems to just for whatever reason, detach and fall. But I am sorry about my face. I had not washed the entire week, so my face is like really broken out. I also, oh yeah, I was also on my period all last week while I was sick. So yeah, that was fun. No, it wasn't. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and roll right into it. My friend, Samantha, quote unquote, is a stay-at-home mom and has a 4-year-old daughter, Katie. Because these are all in parentheses and quotes, I'm assuming these are not real names. Since her daughter's birth, she always insisted that I go to her place if I ever wanted to hang out, even though she lives about 45 minutes away from me. Ugh. That would... Okay, like, I understand, like, maybe, like, the first, like, month or two, since you have to wait a little bit to even get, like, okayed by your doctor to drive, but for 4 years, that seems a bit much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can kind of understand that. Like, when I had my son and when he was smaller, I preferred people to come to us because I had everything. I didn't have to worry about bringing half the house with me to go to somebody's and hang out. So it's not like I don't understand why she wants to do that, or she prefers, like, her friends to come to her, but at the same time, like, you can't, for 4 years, you can't insist that everybody come to you every single time they want to hang out, especially when you're, like, 45 minutes away. That's kind of an asshole move. I always did it in the beginning because I did value our friendship, and Katie was her first, so I could understand how she'd be stressed with a newborn. And again, I do understand that. Again, I'm not saying I don't, but I don't know, it just seems a little asshole-ish to just always insist that people come to you just because you have a child. Like, sorry, it doesn't always work that way. Recently, I started to put my foot down and wanted her to meet me halfway. I felt like her kid, she only has Katie, was old enough to handle being outside, and I was tired of driving just to hang out at her house. We always picked a place halfway, so I felt like it was doable. Also, another thing I think to remember, I guess it depends on how far back, like, how recent this story is. Because, I mean, when I had this saved, I saved this back in March. It was 4 days previous when I found it. But it's also, like, if this is, like, right around the time that she posted it. Because also, like, for, like, 3 years of this kid's life, right after this kid about turned 1, COVID hit. So I can also kind of understand that as well. Again, just like small little tidbit shit. But during the last 3 hangouts, she was over 30 minutes late, and each time she claimed that she got mom privileges for being late because she had to wrangle her kid into the car and do other mom things I wouldn't understand. According to her, I'm childless. I'm sorry. I don't think that anybody would never not understand that. But at the same time, after a while, when you're doing it on a routine, you kind of get used to, how do I want to put this? You get used to, like, how things are going to go when you're getting ready. And at the same time, like, I've now gotten to the point with my kid, which, given he's now 7, but we've gotten to the point where it was like, okay, like, your shoe, like, give them things that they can do to help make things better. Like, if they have slip-on shoes, give them shoes to slip on. Give them if they know how to put on their coat or their hoodie, have them put that on. Stuff like that. Like, make sure, like, hey, can you make sure you have this in the bag? Can you make sure you have this in the bag? If you give them little jobs that help them focus, it actually makes things a lot easier. Like, my son, he has a backpack that he has to get ready if he wants, like, snacks or his iPad or, like, toys or books to bring with him. So we go, hey, you know, make sure you have this, and this in your backpack. Make sure you have your water. Make sure you have your snacks. Make sure you have your water, or I already said water, your books, you know, a toy, iPad, whatever it is that you're bringing. If you want to bring with it, or if you want to bring it, make sure you have it. That's your responsibility, especially now that he's 7. He's old enough to have responsibilities like that. And it's like, if he leaves something, he goes, oh no, I forgot this. And I'm like, okay, well, that was your responsibility. You forgot it. We're just going to have to not deal with it for this trip. So, I mean, I think every single time being late, I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like, it almost is like you don't want to be there, so why even go? She asked to hang out over this past weekend, and I told her that if she was late again, I'd leave. Lo and behold, the day came, and she was late. After 30 minutes, I got up and left, but I went to hang out in the coffee shop across the street because I was curious just how late she'd be. She was over an hour late. And when she found out from the waitress that I had left, she started to call and text me. She said that I was callous and selfish for making her drive 25 minutes away from the house with a toddler only to leave, and that she only ever came out for my benefit. I told her that I hang out with multiple friends who bring their kids out with us, and they're never late. So it was pretty shitty to blame being late on Katie, who is a perfectly sweet girl. She never has been a problem during our outings. Samantha just kept pulling the you're not a mom, so you wouldn't get it card. I heard later from a mutual friend that Samantha had been blasting me in their mommy group and said I was bullying her for putting her child first. I feel like her reaction wouldn't be so strong unless she was actually upset. So I'm starting to feel kind of like an asshole. I mean, she's right that I don't get it as I don't have children, but I still feel annoyed that she's late and feel justified for leaving. My time is precious too. I'm not sure whether or not I should reach out. I don't think that you should reach out, if I'm being completely honest about it. It's like, she has wasted your time. Sorry, he's talking in his sleep. She's wasted your time, and that's not okay either. Like you said, your time is precious too, and you have every right to want to hang out with a friend and not sit there and feel like, oh, well, because I'm not a mom, I can't understand this, or I don't understand that. And especially to blame it on a kid, like, all the time, like, that's pretty fucking stupid, I'm not gonna lie. And to be an hour late, like, over an hour late, at least half an hour late every single time, is absolutely ridiculous. There's absolutely no reason for anybody to be that late all the time with a kid. And especially if the kid's well behaved, then I mean, they always say that kids are worse for their moms or the parent that they are the most comfortable around, because that's their safe space, so they feel like they can act like that, and because they know it's okay, they know it's safe. But I don't know, I find it really hard to believe that she is not on purpose late every single time. I can't believe that it's an accident every single time, and I don't believe that OP is the asshole for leaving, because honestly, I probably would too. And she told her, she's like, hey, she's like, if you're late, I'm leaving. And she waited 30 minutes. I probably would have waited about 30 minutes too, and I would have been like, you know what? She's not coming. Especially if 30 minutes is like the usual, like the normal amount that, you know, she's gone, or that she's late for. If you stayed 30 minutes up until where she usually comes in at, and she's still not there, then I would probably just assume she wasn't coming at all. And I would have texted her and been like, you know what? Like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. Just saying. But we're going to go ahead and roll right into our number 2. Am I the asshole for making fun of my partner's hair loss? This one is interesting because, again, this sounds like an asshole thing, but it's already been dubbed not the asshole. This one's also like hella old. This one's like 285 days old when I had found this, and I found this again back in March. So, I don't know. Let's find out. Title sounds bad, I know. This has been an ongoing argument between my partner and I for almost 6 months now. I feel like I'll never hear the end of it. Backstory. I, 23F, am a naturally fair-skinned girl. I'm also cursed with pretty dark body hairs, which makes upkeep a complete pain. I feel really bad for people that have really light and fair skin and then really dark hair, because it makes you feel like you're just like, shaving is never enough, waxing is never enough, and you have that constant upkeep because otherwise you see it. And like I shave year round. I shave my legs year round. I know there are a lot of women that are like, oh, it's winter, like I'm not shaving. I shave my body year round because I hate seeing and feeling the hair. If I ever won the lottery, probably one of the few like stupid purchases, quote unquote, that I would ever make would be going and getting hair removal done from like the neck down on any hair that is not like on my face that I need or on my head. So like my armpits, my bikini area, my legs, I would probably go and get that all like hair removed as much as possible because I absolutely hate shaving. And I mean, I really like feeling smooth, which is understandable. I think a lot of women can kind of like identify with that, or just people that shave in general that don't like body hair. We don't like the feeling of like the stubble. We don't like just feeling hairy. Like every time my husband goes to touch me on the leg, if I haven't even shaved in like 2 days, I'm like, I'm sorry, I haven't shaved. Or if like I'm feeling like last week, like when I was feeling sick, like the only time I took a bath was to kind of soak and like get rid of a headache, or just kind of get my hair washed so that way it wasn't so greasy. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I haven't shaved. It's like, oh, like I didn't shave. And he just looks at me and he goes, I don't care. And I go, I know you don't, but I do. Okay, sorry. I shaved my legs, and 2 days later, I have dark prickles of hair that I can't shave again for 1.5 weeks or so without causing some pretty painful razor burn. Oh, that sucks even more too. Cause I shave like I try to shower like at least 2 to 3 times a week. And I shave usually like when I'm feeling okay. I shave like every time I shower because I fucking hate hair. I fucking hate it. It just sucks so much. But to shave for not like a week and a half because you would get razor burn would absolutely suck. It is something that has bothered me for a long time, as it takes away a lot of my freedom in the warmer seasons, and I have to pick and choose what events I can show my legs at. This year, I was invited to go with my 28M partner to his family's Christmas Day lunch, which I was pretty excited for. Oh my gosh, are they in like Florida or something like that where you can still wear shorts in the winter? A few days before the lunch, my partner and I were also invited to a New Year's Day pool party at his friend's place. Southern Hemisphere for anyone confused here. Of course, this filled me with dread because I knew that by this point my legs would look freaking terrible in a swimsuit. I decided to go to both and found a gorgeous summer maxi dress to wear for New Year's Day. I thought I'd just relax by the pool and the banana lounge. I don't know what a banana lounge is. And also help host organize the barbecue lunch. After the lunch, I was laying out with a few of the other ladies while our partners were all mucking about in the pool doing cannonballs. My friend's partner, 25M, asked why I wasn't swimming, and I let him know I just wasn't feeling like it that day, and I'd rather lay in the shade. At this point, my partner got back out of the pool, and I assumed he was going to jump back in like usual. Instead, he comes over to me, lifts me up lifts up the bottom of my dress, revealing my legs, and exclaimed, "She isn't swimming today because she is as hairy as a fucking bear." Y'all. I would be fucking livid. Because I don't know about anybody else. But, first off, we're gonna... Okay, let's make sure that didn't wake him up. First off, if I was not swimming, I would not... If I knew I wasn't swimming, like, I knew, like, with 100% certainty, like, oh, you know, I'm not swimming, blah, 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 I would not be wearing a swimsuit under my dress. I would just be wearing normal underwear. So, when he would lift my dress up, like, I'm assuming he didn't lift it all the way, but, like, just the way, like, because I'm assuming, like, you're, like, in one of those things, like, you're lounging back, so, like, everything is just kind of, like, there. Sorry about my body. So I can only assume that, like, when he lifted the dress, you would see, like, her undergarments, and I'm just sitting there going, like, I would be so fucking angry. Sorry. I grabbed my dress and pulled it back down, quite embarrassed, and shot him a very angry look. There was a few chuckles, but mostly awkward silence. I was mortified. He knows how self-conscious I am about this. Also, that's a really fucking dick move. Because if you know that your partner is self-conscious about that kind of shit, why the fuck would you sit there and make fun of him like that? Like, if it's something that, like, you guys have made fun of, like, in public with each other in the past, that's slightly different. But to just fucking do that when obviously you know it makes her uncomfortable is just, it's fucking disgusting. And it's not an okay thing to do at all. In my anger, I then bit back and said, maybe we can transplant some of my leg hair to that nice bald patch you've been brewing. I'm trying not to, like, laugh really loud. I needed a moment to breathe because that was fucking priceless. I completely forgot about the title for a split second and forgot that the dude was bald. This was also met with a few chuckles, followed by an even more awkward silence. My partner then stormed off from the pool and went inside to get dry. He changed into his dry clothes and came out and said that we're leaving. I felt really bad, especially for the hosts, so I apologized to them and said they could keep my salad bowls I had brought over. My partner and I have never spoken about his hair loss before. When I said this, I did know that it likely bothered him, being that I found photos on his phone of him taking pictures of the top of his head where the hair losses started. I just felt like it was hypocritical that he could create this whole situation and my insecurity wasn't off limits, but his is. I know I didn't handle myself the best here. Am I the asshole? There is also, like, I guess a couple updates, or at least one update. This first one is an edit. First off, I don't think you're the asshole. Because like you said, why is it okay for him to make fun of your insecurities in front of your friends, but it's not okay for you to make fun of his insecurity? Like, it's literally like what I try to teach my son all the time. Like, don't dish it out if you can't take it. Like, if you can't handle somebody making fun of something that you feel insecure about, then you don't get to make fun of something that somebody else feels insecure about. Because if you do something to them, they have every right to do it to you. It's literally the treat others as you want to be treated yourself. Edit. Wow, this seriously blew up. Thanks to all of the lovely women who took the time to leave some tips or open up to me in the DMs. I couldn't fit this in the post, but I just had my fourth laser hair removal session. I can't find the words. And my legs are already remotely hairless. I have a few sporadic patches where I still get really thin hair, and some hair follicles haven't dropped. I have 6 sessions left, so I would have to say it's a successful story. In regards to my partner, I'm going to try and have an open conversation with him one more time. My intention is to either communicate and clear the air, or I will be leaving him. I won't be telling him the second part, obviously, lol. Not sure if I should show this to him yet. I mean, I don't think I would necessarily, like, show it to him, because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's, I wouldn't necessarily show him that you've, like, talked about it online just yet. Like, maybe, like, if things blow over, and then you could be like, hey, like, I talked about that story on Reddit, and it kind of blew up, but it was really funny. Update for everyone. I sat him down, and when we both finished work, and he came over just a little over an hour ago. It was a very short conversation. Maybe it's not a good update. I started the conversation by stating that I would like to clear the air and resentment in the relationship. His response to this was, "Are you finally going to apologize?" The audacity. The baldacity. Sorry. I just about died inside. I asked him what I should be apologizing for, and he said the comments I made about his hair at the New Year's party. I then suggested that perhaps we should apologize in sequence of events, so he should go first. LMAO. He said that there is no way he's apologizing to me after what I said because I crossed a line. I asked him what about him crossing the line with my boundaries and humiliating me. He said it isn't the same because I could have just shaved it off and be done with it, where his situation could be permanent. I said that my situation would have remained permanent if I didn't do something about it. He then went quiet and started to shut down, telling me he doesn't want to talk. I told him I don't want his company if he can't have an adult, open conversation with me. He left. I will be dumping him tomorrow. I didn't sign adoption papers. I never wanted this man baby. You know what? Honestly, good for her. Good for her, because honestly, like, what kind of person sits there and does shit like that? Like, you don't get to, like, I understand, like, your, situation sucks. Oh, my ring light just died. The battery thing, I had it set up to, it wasn't charged all that well, so we're just gonna have to deal with this terrible lighting for right now. I apologize. Like, I understand, like, you didn't ask for, like, he didn't ask to be bald, but you didn't ask for, like, super dark hairy legs either, and it wasn't okay for him to step out of that zone and just be like, oh yeah, well, you know, she's not doing it, she's not swimming because of this. Like, you had already given a good enough excuse as to why he didn't need to come over and act like that to you, to be like, oh yeah, well, this is why she's not, this is why she's not, not swimming. Like, just fucking let it be. Why is this one? I have this again. It was the toddler leaving the lady at the restaurant. I don't know. I don't have words. So this one I got off of a website. I did this, like, hella long ago. The beginning of April. Feels like hella long ago. So I don't know that I will not have a username for this. So we're just gonna roll right into it and hope that I didn't fuck this one up too bad. So, am I the asshole for showing up the bride? I, 24F, attended my boyfriend's, 25M, sister-in-law's, 27F's wedding, his brother's wife's sister. Okay, just so we're clear. And now no one is talking to him, his sister, or me. I just graduated college and I am currently in the job market. I'm thankful enough that my boyfriend of almost 3 years offered to let me move in with him while I try to make my 13 an hour internship into a livable career. But that being said, I'm pretty strapped for cash. The money I do have goes to student loan payments and groceries while he takes care of the rest. I met his in-laws about 2 years ago at his brother's wedding and it seemed like we all hit it off. I guess for context, I should say that they are all white and I am Indian. I had a year to save money for a new dress when we got to the save the dates, but it seemed like such a waste of money. I was still a full-time student and the money I made went to all my bills. I decided to just wear one of my old Okay, so I'm going to try to pronounce it, and I apologize to anybody if I butcher this word. Legna? It's Lehenga. I don't know how to pronounce it at all, and I'm so sorry. I wanted to try, but it's not working out. Which is very, very simple. It's a pale blue with a gold design. I didn't wear bangles or a nape, just the outfit, a simple pair of hoop earrings, and my heels. The ceremony was beautiful, and my boyfriend and I were walking into the reception. At first, I thought everyone was staring because, brown person at an old money New England wedding and all that. But then my boyfriend's mom comes up and asks what I'm wearing. She then says the bride is sobbing because people are talking about how pretty my dress is instead of hers and paying more attention to me. Honestly, I didn't know what to do. It was a black tie and everyone was dressed very nicely and the bride looked stunning. The only difference was I wasn't in Western wear. I asked what she wanted me to do and she asked if I had any other dresses. Other than more dressy, that word, lenghias or summer dresses, it was a no. I just offered to go home if she was that uncomfortable with my being there. My boyfriend's mom said that was a dramatic response and if I wanted to, I could. I don't understand, if that dress that is considered plain in her culture is all she had, and all she had was other ones that were even a little bit more fancy at home, then going home and changing wouldn't do anything. So I feel just going home and not being there for the reception so the bride could enjoy her reception, that wasn't a dramatic response. That was completely, the mom had a dramatic response to that. That's ridiculous. Anyway, my boyfriend wanted to leave because he didn't want to make a scene, and honestly, I didn't feel comfortable being stared at. His family and in-laws aren't talking to us, and the bride demands an apology. She apparently made a comment along the lines of, she works all the time and he pays the bills, so I don't understand how she couldn't have just bought a new dress. His sister is the only one on my side saying they're being intolerant of my culture, and even if I was in an evening dress, people would have still talked about me. I feel awful and I want to apologize, but my boyfriend said it wasn't my fault and the families are overreacting. I don't agree with him. It's a special day for the bride, and maybe I should have asked to borrow a Western-style dress from one of my friends. Should I have tried to blend into their culture more? I also don't want my boyfriend and his sister to lose their family over this. Am I the asshole? I don't think you're the asshole. Because first off, you didn't know. What are you supposed to do? I feel this is kind of one of those, lose-lose situations. Because it's if she had taken the time to be take a picture of the dress and be hey, this is what I'm going to wear. Is this okay? She's just kind of be out of shit out of luck with it. Because it's either going to be a yes or a no, or it's and honestly, he works and pays all the bills, and she has all this money, but she doesn't pay for anything, which obviously is a lie because she pays her own bills. That was completely nasty to say. And I understand being angry and in the moment, but it wasn't an okay thing to say, at all. And I don't think that the OP was the asshole in that at all. I did not mention it earlier, but of course it is Monday, so we are also going to be doing some Am I the Devil? And we're going to go ahead and roll right into that one with our first Am I the Devil? I feel the new setup that we have for these, where I just read the original tag, if there's another title, sometimes there are in Am I the Devil's, I feel that's a good way to be going, so we're going to keep up with that. But this one does just have the same title as the original. Am I the asshole for being devastated that my child will not be the first grandchild? Yes. Already yes. I mean, seeing how it's in the Am I the Devil subreddit, it's hard to not already feel that way. But again, I have been surprised once before where I have been kind of on the OOP's side. But I digress. Let's take a look-see. My husband and I are much younger than his oldest brother, my brother-in-law, and his wife, my sister-in-law. My husband is the youngest of 3, and I am the oldest in my immediate family. I was the first grandchild on my mother's side and the first of the later generation of grandchildren on my father's side. As a firstborn, and the first for many things, I've always had the pressure to do things first. I want my life to work out according to my goals, and that can cause the irrational underlying competition between me and whatever blocks those goals. One of my issues is the fear/realization that this is the life I get and I want to have the most experiences I can have, aka being the mother of the first grandchild, etc. Not everything has to be a competition. I understand wanting to do like really well in life and stuff like that and like doing your best. But at the same time, I feel like that's something that's just ridiculous to want to try and be the best at. Like, I want to have the first grandchild. That doesn't happen all the time. So, I personally do not see the whole, like, big deal about it. Given for my family, I was the oldest. I have a younger brother. And I was the first one to give my dad a grandchild. But my brother is now 28 and still has not had any kids. So him and his girlfriend are working on it, or fiance are working on it, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm just like, I didn't really feel like that was like, yes, like I was the first. Like, I don't really give a flying fuck about it, I guess. To explain, I hate the idea of my sister-in-law getting the pride and love of being the one to bear the first grandchild. As a first grandchild, I believe that there is definitely an emotional bias from the family. The first is always more special to family members. Both the first pregnancy announcement and the firstborn baby itself are always seemingly deemed much more special and exciting. I feel like you feel that way because that's what happened in your family to you. And that's not how it goes in real life with normal families. Because, I mean, my son is the very last grandchild for my in-laws. And he's loved just as much as my sister-in-law's oldest. He's tolerated a little bit less, but that's because he's still 7 and a freaking ADHD psycho. So I never feel like my son is loved less than any of the other grandchildren. I don't feel that way. And I don't think that in a real, like, healthy family dynamic is how it actually is. I think that you're just projecting because that's how you have felt, how you have felt growing up. I lost my place. Give me a second. Oh, I've always seen myself to be the first pregnant as being the oldest in the family and the one to have the first baby. Basically, the one to become a mother first. I love my husband and I never want to leave him or cause his family pain over something so stupid and something that she has zero control over. But I literally cannot cope with the fact that sister-in-law, will likely have the first baby. Okay, this is my thing. If he's got an older sister, you got to think that if she's older, if you guys are roughly the same age, then she's going to be older than him. And so obviously she's going to probably end up having the first baby because she's even older than you guys. So it's like, you can't control how old somebody else is. Like, if you knew your husband was like the youngest or a middle child, and you're like so obsessed with having a baby first in both families, one, that is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be blunt about that. That is so fucking stupid. Then you shouldn't have gotten married to somebody that has older siblings that could get pregnant first. If it's that big of a fucking deal. In my honest opinion, I am currently favored a bit by my in-laws, but I am scared my future children, in parentheses, and my husband and I will be brushed off when the time comes that the excitement will be less when we are able to responsibly get pregnant. I don't want to deal with this disappointment I put on myself. And again, you just said it. You put it on yourself. Like, you're putting all this stress on yourself for something that's kind of fucking pointless. Any good family is going to love all of the grandchildren equally, regardless who was born first. The part that makes me the most frustrating is that they, sister-in-law and brother-in-law, are almost past the healthy age to even be trying for children. You don't get to decide when someone is ready for children. Given nature does play a part in certain things like that. Like with women, I know that once we hit 35, we're kind of at that age where our ability to get pregnant and have a full healthy pregnancy starts dropping. But think about it. There are still women that are like 60 that somehow miraculously get pregnant and have a baby. It happens. And it's still none of your fucking business when somebody decides to get ready to have a baby. And for all you know, they may decide that they just don't want a baby at all. Hi, buddy. He woke up a little bit. They've waited to start their lives so late, and it's annoying that I have to face these issues so late on, as they should have been trying over 5 years ago. But due to career issues, extreme debt, and poor life planning, they haven't had any children yet. Part of me just wishes that they would just get to it so I can rip off the Band-Aid. But also part of me still hopes that they can have that joy from the initial expectation I had for myself. This person is so back and forth. It's kind of like giving me like reading Whiplash, because it's like, I want to be the first one to have a baby in both families, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, but I really want them to have a baby because I really want them to have that excitement. Like, goddamn, lady, pick a side. I want the experience, the initial joy as the wife to bring what my in-laws want so bad, grandchildren. But the timing is simply not in my favor. Birthdays are a huge thing in their family, and I just know that this will be a big deal. I am just saddened that I likely won't get that experience, and that the baby I have won't be received the same as the first, because the shock factor will be long gone by the time my husband and I can have our first. I am just grieving the future I had planned, I guessed. So, am I the asshole for being so upset about not having the first grandchild? Okay. So this is what I'm getting from that. Sister-in-law isn't even pregnant yet. So, what are you freaking the fuck out about? If the sister isn't even pregnant yet, that means you still have a chance to get pregnant first and have the first grandchild, but it sounds like they're doing the exact same thing you are doing. They waited till they were like set in their careers, set for money, before trying to have a child. And it sounds like you guys are trying to do the exact same thing. So what is the fucking difference? Like, that's what I don't that's what I'm not getting from this. I'm not comprehending why their situations that seem to be so similar are still so different. That, like, if you want to have a fucking baby so badly, have a fucking baby. Okay? But I think what everybody needs to remember is that you're not just having a baby, you're also raising a person. And we've gone over this before. Like, had I ever thought about that, like, in high school when I was, like, obsessed with the idea of having kids young, like, when I was in high school, I was like, I'm gonna have all my kids by 25, we're gonna have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, because, I was totally like, we could totally control that. Or that's just how things are gonna work out, I just know it. And I was like, I'm gonna be a young mom, and then it's gonna be, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be so cool. Honestly, I feel like having my son at the age I did, which was 25, was fine. I was when I was 18 and pregnant, before I had my miscarriage, I was terrified. I was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm doing. My mom has been gone for just over a year at this point. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have anybody to sit there and be like, oh, this is normal, this isn't normal. And I don't know, like, I was losing my dad, I was losing myself, I was losing everything in that moment, and I didn't feel like anything was special. But when I was pregnant with my son, I felt things were more special. Like, I was with somebody that I was comfortable with, I was with somebody that I loved, that loved me back, that had been through this before, so he knew what to expect. He was able to help me, he was willing to help me. His parents were there for me. It was a really hard, tough situation to be in general. So, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm not understanding the pressure she's putting on herself, because it feels like it's an imaginary pressure that isn't real in any actual lifestyle. So, but we're going to move on. Am I the asshole for monitoring the portion sizes of my daughter's overweight friend? Yes, I'm just going to say it already. Yes. My daughter, Lily, 9F, recently had a sleepover birthday party with 5 of her close friends, including Tina, also 9F. Tina is significantly overweight and well on her way to becoming obese. I've noticed her parents, both also overweight, have not taught her proper nutrition and portion control. She's always the first to reach for a cookie or a donut and consume 3 times as much as most kids her age. I feel sorry for her because it seems it isn't her fault she is overweight, but her parents' fault, and I worry she will develop severe weight issues later in life. At the sleepover party, I decided I was going to try and monitor her portions and nutrient as much as possible. We ordered pizza for dinner, and I imposed a 2-slice limit, knowing none of Lily's other friends would eat more, but Tina was begging for a 3rd piece, and I said no. Then for cake, I cut everyone a small piece, and again, this wasn't a problem for anyone but Tina. Oh, but Tina was really upset and on the verge of tears. For breakfast, I imposed similar limits, and when Tina's parents picked her up, I heard her saying, "I'm starving." I understand it would be a problem if I let everyone else eat whatever they wanted and only limited Tina's portions, but that was not the case. Tina was just the only one who wanted to exceed the limits. However, I later got a call from Tina's mom, calling me fat-phobic and telling me it's not my job to parent her child. This ticked me off. I could have said, "It's your job, but you're not doing it, so somebody has to." But I just politely explained to her that her daughter had to follow the same rules as all the other girls and hung up. My husband got home later that day, and after I explained what happened, he said I could relax a little since it's a birthday party after all. We went back and forth for a bit, but the point that stuck with me was that while I held everyone to the limits, I did set them specifically with Tina in mind, and with the assumption, which held true, that only Tina would want to eat more. Does that make me the asshole? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Like the mom said, it's not your place. And I could understand if, like, this kid was going to eat you out of house and home and was going to eat, like food that, like, if this kid was going to sit there and go for, like, 5, 6, 7 pieces of pizza and everyone else had only had 1 and other people wanted more, but there now was no more because this kid had, like, 4, 5, 6, 7 helpings, that I could understand. But the fact that you did this specifically just because this kid is fat doesn't make it okay. What if somebody else had wanted an extra piece? Would you have said no to that kid? Or was it only because you said you knew that nobody else was going to ask for a 3rd piece? Only this kid. That's not okay. The fact that you practically starved a child. That seems like it's taking quite a bit of a long jump there, so give me a second to step back. The fact that you held back food from a child that is used to eating more just because is an asshole move. Just because that kid is a bigger kid doesn't give you the right to patrol how much they eat. Or push your worries about being overweight onto that child. A 9-year-old. I was a very skinny child. Or I can't even say that I was skinny. I was a very normal, healthy weight as a child. I was within my things. I didn't have, like, a big Buddha belly like what I got now, or, like, you know, these thick arms or anything like that. I had thick legs when I was a kid, but that's just my body, the way my body's built. And I was called fat all the time by my grandmother who raised me as a kid. And it has given me so many different kinds of, it has given me so many different kinds of mental problems when it comes to food, that I have such a unhealthy relationship with food that it's hard developing a good one. Like, I have nasty habits of binge eating because I will sit there and starve myself for a day or two and only eat, like, breakfast or only eat dinner. And then, like, I finally give in and be like, listen, I'm really hungry. And then I will just snack and snack and snack and snack and snack. And it just makes it so uncomfortable for me to feel okay with my body. And it's taking me a really long time to even be okay with my body in a small sense. So, it's not okay in any way, shape, or form to be like that. Okay, we're gonna move on, because otherwise I'm gonna throw a fit. Am I the asshole for blowing up at my husband for sharing pics of our daughter's birthday celebration, resulting in my family finding out about it? I guess I'm confused. Does your family not know you have a daughter? Ever since my brother passed away at the age of 17 on his birthday, my family decided to never celebrate birthdays ever again. The fuck? Like, the fuck? That makes absolutely no fucking sense. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Sorry. It was mom and dad's decision, but because of how much the family loved my brother, extended family decided to do the same and stand in agreement with this decision. A stupid decision, really. My husband would refuse to follow this decision and kept celebrating his birthday. Me and the family didn't say a thing about it since he's not blood family. But when I got pregnant, the argument about celebrating our daughter's birthdays occurred. My family advised me to not celebrate her birthday since she's just a baby and won't even remember them anyway. I agreed, but my husband threw a fit and insisted we celebrate our daughter's first birthday. I caved in eventually, but told him we'd have a small, secret celebration so that my family wouldn't find out. He agreed. The next day, I got a call from my mom, and she was so upset, saying that my word meant nothing and that I have no respect for my brother's memory nor the family. I asked what she meant, and she told me she saw the birthday party pics on my husband posted on social media. I was shocked to even argue. I hung up and went straight to my husband to confront him about it. He got defensive and said that he didn't need my permission to post pics and that he wanted to show his family the birthday celebration since I insisted we have a small secret party and exclude them. I explained to him how this made me look bad and a liar to my family, but he said that they can get over it and called my mom Snooby. I think that means snobby, but it's S-O-O, or it's S-N-O-O-B-Y. So I think it's supposed to be snobby, but it's Snooby. I blew up at him and we had a huge fight about it. He started sulking later and said I ruined the memory of our daughter's first birthday for him and verbally abused him with how I lashed out. But I solely did it out of the frustration knowing what happened caused a massive problem between me and my family. Now he's expecting an apology from me. Am I the asshole? First off, you need to apologize to your motherfucking husband. 'Cause... Sorry. The rules your family inputs does not qualify to him. You don't give a fuck that he celebrates his birthday. And how dare you try to input that onto your daughter? If they don't want to celebrate their birthdays in remembrance of your brother, that's fine. But it is everybody's individual choice on whether or not they should be able to celebrate their own birthdays or celebrate their children's birthdays. Because why would you ever want to miss out on a child's birthday, your child's birthday, just because your family has put this weird ass fucking rule in their lives? When it was my son's first birthday, all I did, I made his own cake that looked absolutely terrible because I'm a terrible artist. And we waited until his brother and sister got back from visiting their biological mom over Christmas break to celebrate his first birthday. And you know what? I'm so glad we did. Because I will always have that memory of just singing happy birthday to my son and my son not wanting to put a hand in the frosting because he doesn't like having his fingers feel sticky. And I loved it. I will always remember doing something for my son's first birthday, even though it wasn't on his birthday. I could never imagine never celebrating my son's birthday again. Like, it's heartbreaking to think about that. Like, even if my brother had died on my birthday, I would never not want to celebrate a birthday again. I could never want to do that. It would be heartbreaking because, one, given I don't celebrate my birthdays a whole lot anyway, like, I'm just not big on my own birthday. I'm big on my husband's birthday. I'm big on my son's birthday. My birthday I could give two fucks less about. Does that mean that because I feel so terrible about my birthday, I'm going to make him never celebrate his birthday or never want to celebrate my son's birthday again? Absolutely the fuck not. Because that's my personal preference, not theirs. And it's the same thing. It's almost kind of like the same thing as Christianity. It's okay to have rules for yourself, but your rules don't apply to other people unless they want those rules to. So you don't get to push your rules onto other people that don't impact them. It doesn't mean anything to them. You don't want to celebrate your birthday because somebody died on their birthday in your family? Whatever. That's fucking fine. You don't get to do that for somebody else. Like, what are you going to do? I bet you're the same kind of person that if your neighbor's having a birthday party, you're going to call the cops as soon as it's like 10:01 past the thing, or 9:59 because they're being loud. And I think it's absolutely disgusting and not okay. One, you do owe your husband an apology, though, because that was not okay. And I could never want to not celebrate my son's birthday. And as a mom, I don't know how you could ever not want to celebrate your child's birthday while they're alive. Because I guarantee you, one day, if something ever happens to your daughter, heaven forbid nothing does, something happens to your daughter and she passes away, you are going to regret how many birthdays you missed out on celebrating with her. Think about it that way. And unfortunately, we're going to leave off on that note because I don't have time for another one. And that one was a lot sadder than I thought I was going to leave off on. Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. If you know somebody who likes my content, feel free to send me their way in a share. If you would like to send me a message with your own story, rant, question, unpopular opinion, or if you want me to tell others how you fucked up today, or any day, send me a message via any of my social media found in the description. Just look for my cute little avatar you see on whatever app you're listening on. Please, give a rating if you enjoyed what you heard today. I hear that they help out tremendously. And as always, I will catch you all next time. Bye! So, as usual, I want to thank you guys all for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the recording. I hope you enjoyed listening. Please feel free to hit any of the buttons down below, the like, the comment, the share, the subscribe if you haven't, the bell icon if that's your kind of thing. And I will see you guys next time.